If you know how to talk to a woman the right way, you don't need to force attraction. You don't need to impress her with fake confidence. You don't need to chase her attention. Because the moment a conversation feels different with you, she remembers you. And here's the truth most men miss. Women don't just remember what you said. They remember how they felt while talking to you. Did the conversation feel easy? Did it feel safe? Did it feel exciting? Did it feel like you were actually listening or just waiting for your turn to speak? Because conversation is not just words, it's energy, timing, curiosity, confidence, playfulness, silence. And when you master those things, you stop sounding like every other man trying too hard. Number one, stop trying to impress her and start trying to understand her. This is the first shift. Most men enter a conversation with one goal. How do I make her like me? So they perform. They talk about themselves too much. They force jokes. They mention achievements. They try to prove they're interesting. But here's where it gets interesting. The more you try to impress, the more she feels like you're selling yourself. An attraction doesn't grow when someone feels like they're being convinced. It grows when they feel relaxed. So instead of thinking, how do I impress her? Start thinking, who is she really? If you do this, she won't say anything. She'll just slowly lose interest. No warning, no argument, no clear reason, just a shift in energy. And suddenly, she's not the same anymore. And here's the truth most men don't want to hear. Attraction isn't only built, it's also destroyed, not by big mistakes, but by small behaviors, repeated over time. Things you think don't matter, but change how she sees you completely. And once that perception changes, it's very hard to get it back. Number one, you become too available, too quickly. At first, it feels like the right thing to do. You reply instantly. You're always there. You make yourself easy to reach all the time because you think, if I show more effort, she'll like me more. But here's where it gets interesting. Too much availability removes tension. It removes mystery. It removes anticipation. Think about it. If she knows you'll always reply in seconds, always say yes, always be there, there's nothing to wonder about, nothing to miss. An attraction needs that space. It needs moments where she thinks about you, not moments where you're constantly in front of her. And most people miss this. It's not about ignoring her. It's about not losing yourself trying to be present. Because the moment your life starts revolving around her, she starts pulling away. Not because she doesn't like you, but because there's nothing left to discover. Number two, you try too hard to impress. This is one of the biggest attraction killers. You tell stories, but exaggerate them. You talk about achievements, but force them into conversation. You try to show your value instead of letting it be seen naturally. And at first, it might seem like confidence, but over time, it feels like effort. And here's the deeper psychology. Real confidence doesn't try to prove itself. It just exists. So when you're constantly trying to impress, it creates pressure. It makes the interaction feel unnatural, and she can sense it, even if she doesn't say it. And this changes everything, because instead of feeling drawn to you, she starts feeling like she's being convinced. An attraction can't be forced like that. Number three, you seek constant validation from her. This one is subtle, but dangerous. You ask things like, do you like me? Am I good enough? Did I do okay? Not directly, but in small ways. Through your words, through your tone, through your need for reassurance. And you've probably felt this before, that need to know where you stand. But here's where it gets interesting. When you rely on her validation, you shift the power dynamic. She becomes the one deciding your value. And that creates imbalance, because attraction grows when both people feel equal, not when one person is constantly seeking approval. And most people miss this. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about not needing constant reassurance, because the moment she feels like she has to convince you of your worth, she starts losing interest. Number four, you lose your emotional control too easily. This doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being unstable. You get frustrated quickly. You react strongly to small things. You let your mood shift based on her actions. And at first, she might overlook it. But over time, it becomes exhausting because emotional control signals maturity, stability, strength. Now think about this. If she cancels plans and you overreact, if she takes time to reply and you get irritated, if small things affect you too much, it creates pressure. And here's the truth. People are drawn to calm energy, not chaos. And this changes everything because the moment she feels like she has to manage your emotions, she starts stepping back, not because she doesn't care, but because it feels heavy. Number 5, you become predictable in the wrong way. Routine isn't the problem. Predictability is. You always text at the same time. You always respond the same way. You always behave in a pattern that never changes. And at first, it feels comfortable, but then it becomes boring. And here's where it gets interesting. Attraction thrives on uncertainty, not confusion, but variation. Small surprises, different energy, moments that feel slightly unexpected. But when everything about you becomes predictable, there's no excitement, no curiosity. And most people miss this. They think consistency alone is enough. But consistency without variation feels flat. And over time, interest fades. Number 6, you stop challenging her and just agree with everything. This one is huge because many people think, if I agree with her, she'll like me more. So you avoid disagreement. You avoid tension. You say yes to everything. But here's the problem. It removes depth. It removes personality. It removes the dynamic that creates attraction. Think about it. If every conversation feels the same, if there's no pushback, no playful challenge, it becomes dull. And here's the deeper psychology. Attraction isn't built on agreement. It's built on interaction, energy, contrast, and this changes everything. Because when you have your own opinions, your own perspective, you become more interesting, more real, more engaging. But when you just mirror her, you disappear. Number 7, you lose your own life trying to be part of hers. This is the biggest mistake and the most common. You stop focusing on your goals. You cancel plans for her. You prioritize her over everything else. And at first, it feels like commitment, but over time, it feels like dependency. And here's where it gets interesting. Attraction grows when 2 complete people come together, not when one person loses themselves in the process. Because the version of you she was attracted to was independent, focused, driven. But when you give all of that up, you change. And she notices, even if she doesn't say it. And this changes everything, because now, instead of being drawn into your world, she feels like you've made her your entire world. And that's not attractive. That's pressure. Now here's the part most people don't realize. These mistakes don't happen all at once. They happen slowly, subtly, without you noticing. And that's why they're dangerous. Because by the time you realize something is wrong, the energy has already shifted. She's already pulling away. You've probably felt this before. That moment where everything was good. And then suddenly it wasn't. No clear reason, no obvious problem, just distance. But think about everything we talked about. The over-availability, the need to impress, the validation seeking, the emotional reactions, the predictability, the lack of challenge, the loss of self. Individually, they seem small, but together, they change how she sees you. And once that perception changes, it's hard to reverse because attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. And emotions don't respond to explanations, they respond to behavior. So if you've noticed any of these patterns in yourself, don't panic, just become aware. Because the moment you understand what pushes attraction away, you start understanding what keeps it. And if you've experienced this shift before, where someone slowly lost interest, then deep down, you already know. It wasn't one big mistake, it was the small things that changed everything.